What's that?
You guys ready? Good evening, everybody. It is 7 o'clock on Monday, May 20th, 2024, and we will call this regularly scheduled meeting of the Sault Ste. Marie City Commission to order. Could we have a roll call, please?
Mayor Gary.
Here.
Commissioner Bauer.
Here.
Commissioner Bospis Rath.
Here.
Commissioner Gage.
Here.
Commissioner Habusta.
Here.
Commissioner Marble.
Here.
Commissioner Rubenstein.
Here.
Thank you, all present and accounted for. If everybody could please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Item 4 is mayor comments and general announcements. Certainly we had an exciting week in Sault Ste. Marie and area last week with the First Lady of the United States visit, Dr. Jill Biden, and also the second gentleman that we have had in U.S. history. Regardless of your political persuasion, it's really cool and very important that a visit like that happened. It was great to showcase the Soo Locks. I'd like to thank the Corps of Engineers for an outstanding job of presenting the importance of the locks to our infrastructure across the United States. They did a fantastic job. The First Lady and Second Gentleman got to hear from the head of the Corps, got to hear from the project manager of the Corps. Jim Weekly from the Ship Carriers Association did a great job at presenting information, and they got to hear from the person in charge of the new Soo Lock project. So it was really informational from that perspective, and there was a lot of media, and that's critically important to this region to have that attention and to see that. It was, haven't seen that many news people here in a long time. Also want to thank Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians and the Bay Mills Tribe, who really are the ones that pulled a lot of it together. They had some great informational sessions on healthcare in Indian native land, and certainly, and they hosted both of them out in Bay Mills for the night. The other thing I would like to say is thank you very much to law enforcement agencies, all, and fire department and DPW. One of the things that you don't realize until you're in the middle of one of those events is there is a lot of law enforcement, there's a lot of coordination, and of course, because of the gravity of the situation, they don't let you know in advance. So we thank, I know Kristen Ator from the police department, and I think Nick Vaught, and certainly both chiefs worked very hard to make sure that everything in the city of Sault Ste. Marie was seamless, and I know that they brought everybody on from both departments, and certainly that's a great expense and a burden on the staff, and we thank them for doing that, and also the DPW, who did a great job with traffic control and barricades. So great job to everybody, Sault Ste. Marie, for pulling that off, and really did give us some national recognition, puts us in the spotlight, and it was a great event, and they were both very sincere and nice people. Got a card from John DeMoose, and I just wanted to say it was addressed to me, but certainly it's to the city of Sault Ste. Marie. He wanted to extend his sincere congratulations to the staff of the city of Sault Ste. Marie for receiving the TMF LSLR grant for lead line management. So I don't know who wrote the grant, but certainly see a smile on Kirk's face. He's most glad to hear that our communities are being protected in a way that ensures safe drinking water for many years to come. So great job to Kirk and his crew for getting that grant. Moving on into, we don't have any items for proclamations and recognitions, so item C is public comment. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to make any comments at one of our regular scheduled items. Yes, sir. I'm gonna make a guess here.
Comment on the request for commission direction, which originally was the puller hood replacement, and now is puller concession equipment replacement.
All right, we'll put you on there. Anybody else have any comments on any of the regular scheduled items? All right, seeing none, we will move on into item D, which is the consent agenda. Deputy City Manager Robin Troyer.
Thank you, Mayor. Under the consent agenda, 1, approval of City Commission meeting minutes of May 6, 2024. Item 2, acceptance of the Airport Advisory Board meeting minutes of March 14th. Item 3, acceptance of the Downtown Development Authority meeting minutes of March 13th. Item 4, acceptance of the Economic Development Corporation, Brownfield Redevelopment Authority, and Tax Increment Finance Authority 3 meeting minutes of March 12th. Item 5, acceptance of the PEHP Firefighters, Fire Captains Unit meeting minutes of April 12th. Item 6, acceptance of the Zoning Board of Appeals meeting minutes of April 18th. Item 7 is consideration of mayor reappointment of Rob Landis to the Economic Development Board, Brownfield Redevelopment Authority, and Tax Increment Finance Authority 3 for a term to expire June 1, 2030. Item 8 is consideration of bid awards for the purchase of maintenance materials for fiscal year 24-25. Item 9 is consideration of traffic control order 24-02. Item 10 is consideration of Smart Zone lease agreement with Superior Industrial Services. And item 11 is approval of the consent agenda items as presented.
Thank you, Deputy City Manager Robin Troyer. Would any commissioner like any of those items removed for individual consideration or have further explanation on any of them? Seeing none, Commissioner Bauer.
So moved, we adopt tonight's consent agenda.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any questions or comments? All in favor of adopting the consent agenda signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passed unanimously. Moving on into E, special orders of business. City Manager Chapman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Up first for commission consideration tonight are 4 items that wraps up the budget process for the organization. So if the commission will recall, we started working on the budget early in the winter time. Department heads worked with finance department to put together their budget requests. We sat through a series of meetings internally to create the recommended budget for your consideration. It was brought to the commission last month. We had our budget workshops. There was some discussion about the budget, and now we're ready to approve it. So the first 4 items for tonight, number 1 is the administrative budget message for 23-24 budget. In there, it goes into a little bit more detail about the budget. A lot of information in there, actually. There is no motion required for that. That's just in there for informational purposes. The next 3 items are the final resolutions for the 2024-25 fiscal year general appropriations, 2024-2025 fiscal year water and sewer rates, and then a public hearing and final resolution for the purpose of establishing the tax levy for 2024. So if there's any questions on those items, we'd be happy to entertain them. Otherwise, we look for a public hearing on number 2, 3, and 4 individually, as well as a vote individually. And before we kind of get into that, I want to thank the staff again. There's a lot of work that goes into this at the department head level. Obviously, Director Collins, the finance department. Robin gets dragged through these too. She's in all these meetings and providing a lot of valuable input as well. So a lot of great work all the way around, a lot of time and energy into this. So if there's anything, we'd be happy to provide some more information or answer any questions.
Okay, we'll open it up to the commission. Any questions for City Manager or Finance Director or Deputy City Manager Troyer? Commissioner Habusta.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a question involving, or a comment, involving the public hearings involving the general appropriations. I've noticed the fund balance, as you indicated, has increased from to 33.17% as a requirement. Cities should have 15 to 20%. I know we spoke briefly during our budgeting process about looking at that fund balance and figuring out if there's a better way to utilize that or if we should utilize that. One of the things that I've called for previously on this commission is a goal planning session. I believe that we need to plan one of those sooner rather than later. I think it's highly important that we have a goal planning session to be able to deal with things like an expanded fund balance. So I would just urge the city manager to plan that for our commission. Thank you.
Thanks, Commissioner. Any other questions or any comments?
Just a
Mr.
quick
Bauer.
comment on the heels of Commissioner Habusta's comment is that, and I'm sure you remember in years gone by when the commission would have a formal goal-setting session. One of the reasons that we kind of got away from that is that, you know, the budget is so tight, but of course, you know, as you mentioned, it's, well, I mean, it's still tight, put it that way. But I agree with you, though, that a formal sit-down goal-setting session might be quite productive for us as a group.
And so I guess I'll just comment on that, actually. I reached out to a person that works with the MML, and she sent me a plan that she ran through with the city of Monroe. I just got it today. I can send that all to you probably tonight after the meeting. You can take a look at least the process. I think there was two parts. The commission's always done the goal setting thing, but when I first got up here, there was COVID that was going on, but to a certain extent, we had a lot of things just going on. A lot of the goals that I think the commission had in previous years weren't necessarily done. So we were catching up on a lot of that. We had a lot of changeover at the department head level. So we did take a pause on some of that stuff. But I do feel that we are at a point right now within the organization that it probably would be time to do something like that. So I got this proposal, like I said, I just got it today. I'll send it out to the commission. Take a look at it, let me know what you think about the process that she proposes. This would probably be something that would bid out. I don't know exactly quite what the dollar cost would be on this particular proposal, but I just wanted to see kind of a process. So I'll send that out to you all, and you guys can review it and let me know what you think individually, and bring it forward to you guys at a later date.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Now, with the administrative, the budget message, were we going to go over that at all, or is that for our information?
I move with it for your information.
Okay. All right, so item number 2 is a public hearing on the final resolution of the general appropriations for the 24-25 fiscal years. So we will officially open the public hearing. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to make any comments on the general appropriation for the 2024-2025 fiscal year? So again, it's public hearing on the final resolution of the general appropriations of the 24-25 fiscal year. Seeing none, we will close the public hearing. Any questions, comments from the commission? Who would like to make a motion to? Commissioner Gage.
I motion to adopt the included final resolution of general appropriations for the 2024-2025 fiscal year with details by fund as provided in the resolution.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any questions, comments? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed unanimously. Moving on into special orders of business number 3. We will now open the public hearing on the final resolution of the water and sewer rates for the 2024-2025 fiscal year. City Manager, before we open that?
No, I'm just
Commissioner?
I'm ready to make the motion when it's time.
Okay. Did we want to just do a quick run-through of the increase of the rate, I guess?
Yeah.
For the public?
On average, water and sewer rates are gonna go up about 2% per 5,000 gallons. In your budget packet, there was kind of an outline on what the raise or what the increase would be for each kind of user based on their usage. But on average, it's about 2% for 5,000 gallons of water.
Okay, so we will open the public hearing on the final resolution of water and sewer rates for the 2024-2025 fiscal year. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to make any comments at this time? Again, it's a public hearing for the final resolution of the water and sewer rates for 2024-2025. We will close the public hearing and City Commission, Commissioner Gage.
Motion to adopt the resolution of water and sewer rates for the 2024-2025 fiscal year with detailed rates as provided in the resolution.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any questions or comments?
Comment.
Commissioner Bauer.
Yeah, not to be, Mr. Brightside or anything, but considering that the rate is going up significantly lower than the actual rate of inflation, I think that's not so bad. Really.
Thanks for your comment. Commissioner Rubenstein.
Just a quick question, did the e-billing deduction change?
I don't believe so. E-billing deduction didn't change for the water bills.
It was
Oh, it did.
increased by around the same as the rate increase.
That's right.
So the deducted increase.
Okay.
Commissioner Gage.
I guess I'd just also add, following on Commissioner Bauer's comments, I think, one of the things that I look at as I go around the Upper Peninsula and for work, is how folks, communities and municipalities are doing with their water rates. And 2% is an extremely reasonable, extremely small increase. And I know that it's not fun to have a 2% every single year, but it's so much more palatable to do it 1 year, one time, consistently, as opposed to some folks that kick the can down the road and then it's a 30-30, 60-60, which I've seen in other municipalities in the Upper Peninsula. So I know that it's not always fun to raise water rates, but it's so much better to raise it in a reasonable way than it is an insane way. So I'd add that. I said that at budgeting, but I thought I'd say it at the full meeting now too.
Anybody else? So it has been moved and supported. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion also passed unanimously. So we'll move to item 4, which is public hearing on the final resolution for purposes of establishing 2024 tax levy for the city of Sault Ste. Marie. So we will open the public hearing for the purposes of establishing the tax levy. Is there anybody in the audience that has any questions, comments at this time? We will now close the public hearing on the final resolution for the purposes of establishing the 2024 tax levy. City Commission, any questions, comments? Commissioner Gage.
Motion to adopt the included final resolution for purposes of establishing a 2024 tax levy, maintaining the millage for charter operations at 16.7298 mils, maintaining the millage for solid waste collection at 0.652 mils, and slightly decreasing the millage for the police and fire pension fund at 6.2481 mils to meet actuarial requirements for the fund.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Are there questions or comments? I just have a couple comments. I think on the overall process, I think I'd like to echo the city manager's comments and thank all of the city staff, especially the department heads, and Robin Troyer, deputy city manager, Kristen Collins, finance director and treasurer, Gally Perrin, accountant, assistant treasurer, certainly the city manager. I know it takes a lot of work to go through this process. It starts in November. And culminates here with the adoption of the budget. And we've been doing this, I think, Commissioner Bauer and I, for probably 17 years or more, and I always feel extremely guilty that you have worked on this for 6 months, very hard, and we think that we're fatigued with the budget after having one 3-hour meeting and going through it. But I think it's a testament to how much we trust you and how much faith we have in the process and in the finance department. Certainly, we've had wonderful audits and we've had good bond ratings. So we do 100% appreciate all of the effort that goes into this. It hasn't been an easy process all these years. And I think that we are finally getting to the point where, as Commissioner Robusta said, our fund balance is stabilized. We are going to be able to do some goal setting and look forward and do better future planning than we've had. We had COVID, which screwed everybody up, and we've had some issues with the fund balance and some of the projects that have sucked the life out of everybody, but we have a lot of those that are, some of them that are gonna be done this year, and certainly we have a big wastewater treatment plant project coming up, but as Commissioner Gage said, there have been responsible increases in rates. There's been responsible increases in service fees across the city. We've had stagnant tax growth. We've had stagnant revenue sharing, certainly up till maybe this year. That's starting to get a little bit better, thanks to our friends at MML and some of the legislature. So things are improving, and certainly, but we appreciate all the really hard work that everybody's put into it. And like I said, with this budget message, it looks like it was prepared by Robin, Kristen, Callie. Thank you very much for putting that together. I know that there's a lot of information in there, and it will be available on the city's website. Any single time you have any questions about the city's budget, or where, I know there were some messages on Facebook, you know, where was the marijuana excise tax money going? Well, it's all in the budget, so look it up. It's easily detailed by revenue source, very easily detailed by expense source, and if you have any questions, certainly call city manager's office or the finance department, and you can get answers. You don't have to FOIA it, you can call and ask, so. But again, thank you very much for everything everybody's done. So on that one, we did get motion and support, so any other questions or comments? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passed unanimously. Thank you very much, everybody. The process is complete. So we'll move on into item G, which is business items. City Manager Chapman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Up first is a request from some direction from the commission regarding the Polar Hood and concession equipment replacement project that we have going on. As the commission's aware, we bidded out this past March, somewhere around there. That particular bid was a conversion of all the equipment to electric fryer, electric deep fryers, electric grill, and the necessary electrical upgrades. That project came back at about $191,000. There was some carpentry work in there, installation of ventless, self-contained cooktop and fryers. That came back significantly higher than what we were anticipating when we were kind of working out the details for electrical equipment. Most things came back as we expected, but the one kind of wild card that we weren't anticipating was the high cost of the electric griddle. We had one in mind, but apparently that was an older model, and the next best thing was significantly higher than what we originally thought. So almost 200 grand for that work to be done. Looking for a little bit of direction from the commission. We can move forward with the electric equipment if the commission so chooses to. We would just have to do a budget amendment. I know there was talks at one point about the previous bid we did. That was the hood that was purchased by the Eagles that was given to us. We did bid that one out November 2023. We received bids back for that one. We didn't receive any bids. I know since then there was some spokespeople from the Eagles that came forward that had some contractors. It may be worth at least bidding it out one more time with that original plan. Work with the Eagles to see if any of their contractors they had presented would put in a bid for it. Otherwise, we really don't know which direction to take. So if the commission's good, we can do the electrical equipment. We just need a budget motion. Otherwise, if the commission wishes us to rebid it out with the equipment that was purchased by the Eagles, we'd be more than happy to do that, but just looking for a little bit of direction from the commission.
Thank you, City Manager. I'm sure we'll have some good discussion here, but I think first, Paul Andary, Paul, would you like to come up? It's Paul Andary, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm
Welcome,
here
Paul.
as a Puller supporter. And I think you said the November 2023 equipment was the Sioux Eagles. That's in fact not true, right, Brian? That
I
was,
guess
that
if I
was,
misspoke, Tyler, what was it?
That was the one we did engineering on. The engineers looked at the equipment and then put together all the specs.
I apologize. The November one did not include it.
That was the one prior, was the Eagles.
Sorry.
3 bids ago.
Yes, 3 bids ago we did. Last one, we did not. I apologize.
I guess here we are going on 6 years later. Mayor Gary, you were here. Commissioner Bauer, you were here. What, I mean, the agreement was the Eagles supplied the equipment and the city installed it. Am I confused on that?
Been a long time. I really,
I mean, there was the resolution, it was approved.
it's been a long time, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah.
absolutely agree with you.
Yeah.
And I guess my question is why would you want to spend $191,000 for electrical equipment when the city pays the utility, when you got natural gas, which is going to operate at 1/5 of the cost? And I brought 2 bids to the city of qualified installers to install the Eagle equipment. That's all I got.
Okay. Thank you, Paul. All right, so let's open up discussion. Anybody, I can open it, I guess. I know this has been, as Paul said, it's been, the numbers here at least 4 years, but it's probably been longer than that. And I'm not gonna, I guess, rehash all of that, but we own the Puller. It's a fantastic venue for hockey, for skating, and for other events, and I think could be a great venue in the summer as well. And as a hockey parent, I've been to probably 200 rinks in the last 20, 30 years, and you don't see many that don't have a concession. And I think it's important that we somehow come to a resolution quicker, sooner than later. 190,000 certainly will never break even. We'll never be able to recoup that money, but you know, is there a way for us to look at a lesser cost, as Paul said, with the gas that's installed? I don't know. I don't know where, you know, we've gone through some periods of time where, you know, people were unwilling to bid on things because they've been so busy. And prices have gone high because of that. I don't know if it's timing of bidding. I don't know if it's lack of bidders, but there's got to be a way to get this done. I don't see giving up on, you know, having the grill equipment in there, but I don't know the solution, but I think we should forge forward and try to get it done. I think we already, I don't remember, didn't we allocate $80,000 of the budget already set aside for the project?
There was, and we used some of it for the engineering, so right now there's about 70,000 in it.
You paid $20,000 for engineering?
No, 10.
The budget was 90.
No, the budget was 80.
Really changed.
So any other commissioners have any comments, questions, discussion? Commissioner Habusta.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's no secret I've been critical on the budget deficit within the Polar operations. However, I want to bring to attention to the Commission's attention the food and vendor agreement of 2019, which the Commission signed. In that, there is a under equipment, it says the operator will have a right to use city-owned existing concession equipment. The city will retain ownership of all inventoried equipment turned over to the operator at the initiation of the agreement. The operator may choose not to use any of the Polar equipment. If any Polar equipment is utilized, the operator will be responsible for all maintenance in each piece of equipment. As part of this agreement, in item number 3, the operator will be purchasing, cleaning, and annually inspecting a new stainless steel hood and fire suppression system that will be permanently installed and owned by the city under this agreement. Just looking straight at the wording of this agreement, it seems to me that previous commission had made an agreement with the Eagles on this. I think it's important we honor agreement, and so I would be in support of rebidding it with gas, natural gas, because I think that is a much more efficient way to go. I would be in favor of rebidding it under that and moving forward with the hood, pending the outcome of that bid.
Thanks, Commissioner.
Is
Mr.
that
Bauer?
a motion?
Are you looking for a motion or just direction from us on what to do with?
I guess if there's consensus, or if you guys want to do a motion, I mean, I don't have consensus yet. There's two people that have spoke. But if you guys want to make a motion and make it really clear.
Mr. Rubenstein?
Just to clarify, if we rebid it out, it is for the hood that is currently here that the Eagles purchased?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Commissioner Bauer, do you have any comments?
No, I just think that makes more sense to me.
Okay.
$190,000, awful lot of money.
Commissioner Gay, Commissioner Bosbus-Rath?
Thank you, Mayor. Now, I'm trying to remember, wasn't there something wrong with the hood that was purchased? Or the specifications, or, it's been a while and we've done. Okay, because I thought there was something.
That was with the previous recreation director. He said it needed to be zero clearance.
Okay. Okay. So, I mean, if the hood would work, I think that it's definitely worth rebidding to see if there's any company that would do it.
Thanks, Commissioner. Commissioner Gage?
I'll let Commissioner Marble go first. I'm formulating
Commissioner
thoughts.
Marble?
I agree with Commissioner Boswell. Wrath, I feel like we've just been beating our heads over and over and over with this, so I think that we need to rebid it out with their hood.
Commissioner Rubenstein?
How, I mean, what's the timeline if it's rebid out?
Tyler and Ed, you want to come up really quick?
And I guess to clarify that further, would either option result in it being ready for next season?
Fall season.
And that's, we can get into the timeline here, but there are some concerns regarding the hood from the Eagles. It's not as what Mr. Andrew said, where it's just plug and play.
I believe there is some components that need to be added onto it to make it to code. I believe the one that they have, it does not have a makeup air unit on it. It just sucks in cold air from outside. So to make the space not sub-zero in the winter when the Polar operates, it needs a makeup air unit. So that needs to be added. And I will note that 3 bids ago, when we did receive a bid back on this, it was for the Eagles equipment and necessary upgrades, and it was 150,000-ish.
Was that the one in 2022? For 145, 750, or?
Yes.
Okay. Better than 191 though, so.
And the reason we went to the electric option was that was to use the existing space in there for the ventless equipment, ventless hoods, which didn't require as much through the wall work for the makeup air unit. Everything was able to be housed in the concession area as it is. So that was the reason for going the electric option.
Some timeline on rebidding it out. We could probably get something, because we kind of have a base model already done. I mean, we can get out something pretty soon, right?
It could go out later this week if it had to for
Yeah.
2-3 weeks.
So 2-3 weeks, we probably bring the bid back. Probably beginning of July, first meeting in July. That gives us last couple weeks of May, getting through June, bring some back in July. Now, the caveat to that would be contractors' availability. If they can do it before the season starts, awesome, but we don't know what contractor, if any contractor, and what their availability is. So we can probably have something to the commission, bid result wise, first meeting in July.
Mhm.
Mr. Bauer?
I would say second meeting, just by the time you got bid opening, getting it set for a meeting, I would say second meeting.
Okay.
We could shoot for the first, but just in case, not to disappoint anyone.
Let's say we put this out to bid again and nobody bids on it. Can we fall back on the Albert bid, or do we have to rebid that again?
It would probably be expired at that point. We could probably have a conversation, if at that time, if we had no bids came back, and we brought the item back to the commission, and you so choose to go with the electric bids, we could have a conversation with Alberts to see if they'll still honor that bid. But at that point, it would be for,
Typically, it's 30 days, and right now, we're pushing it. I mean, I
Yeah.
called and let them know we were bringing it to this meeting for direction. So, and they've got subcontractors for the electrical, it's not just Alberts, so wishful thinking.
so they may honor it, but they may not. So we may have, if they did not honor it, we would have to rebid it out.
Your Honor.
Commissioner Gage?
Can I ask, I don't know if I'm allowed to, but can I ask Mr. Andary if there's a negative impact if we were to go with the electrical as opposed to natural gas? A negative impact on him and his operation?
I don't have an operation.
Or I guess from your standpoint, like, what are the,
It's a burden to the city to be paying an electric utility.
Right.
And it wouldn't create the capacity that the gas does. I mean, I'm not an expert on it.
Sure.
You could ask Commissioner Gabusa, I mean, he runs the north side.
Yep.
But I guess everybody's talking about timelines. You already have a drawing, okay, that nobody did on. All they have to do is supplant our equipment, okay? And for, the gentleman right here, the Eagle equipment does have a makeup area.
I'm very confused, I'll be honest. I don't know what, honestly don't know how I feel about, I mean, I think I speak maybe for the rest of us, and that I'd love to see this get done, but it just seems like a confusing question.
So in general, rebid it out.
Sounds like we have consensus that we want to get the project done, and we'd like to see it bid out to see if the installation of the hood and use of the gas is better than the electrical equipment. Correct? All right. Thank you. Moving on into G, business items. Number 2, City Manager Chapman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Up next for commission consideration is a request for a budget amendment for the Safe Routes to Safe Routes to School program. When we originally worked out this project, there was a series of work items that we were going to do in-house, but pursuant to some of the federal rules for the Safe Routes to School program, they have to be done by some of the subcontractors. So we're looking for a budget amendment to complete the project in the amount of $89,700. This would come from the general fund. Everything is ready to go for this project at this point, and this would get it moving forward. So we look for a motion to increase the budget by $89,700 from the general fund.
Thank you, City Manager. Any questions or comments? I have one for the city engineer. On the award letter on the top, the 833,000, it says 0.9 miles of safe routes to schools. I'm assuming there are more miles of that. How many miles is the project roughly? It's 0.9? For $800,000?
But that's, it's not just sidewalk, it's also the approaches, the curb, or what's the bumpy? Come on up here, Dave, because I'm getting too technical in these terms by saying bumpy things. But there's also.
I know it's a grant, but boy, oh boy, oh boy.
There's also repair to existing
so-
driveways.
Okay.
So, yeah, we're not just doing sidewalks. When we get into these federal projects, we have to do the ADA ramps for all the intersections.
Dave's
So-
making wages too, right?
Yep, yep, exactly, yeah,
Huh?
so there's a lot of existing sidewalk that out there that don't have ADA compliant, ramps, and a lot of the project is just putting in ramps
Put in the ramps.
for the old sidewalks.
I think that's good to note for those that wonder why we have potholes in our streets. If 0.9 miles, less than 1 mile
Yeah,
of sidewalk is $823,000.
yep,
Sidewalk.
you know, and when we're, like.
And the
when we-
roads are more than that for 0.9 miles.
Right.
Yeah.
You can give 4 hood vents for that.
Yeah. When we do a road project, the ramps, just that 1-4 intersection, that's about $20,000 to $30,000 just for the sidewalk ramps.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just one
Wow. Commissioner Gage.
One brief question. I see that we've got 5,000 for a SHPO. Is that a SHPO review, 5,000?
Yep. We
For
are-
sidewalk replacement, the
Yep.
State Historic Preservation Office has
Yeah.
to.
Anytime you disturb soil now
Yep, everything that we do.
on a federal project.
A
Federal
little stupid, I
project.
think, but-
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
not me.
It would take the Commissioner Boss's wrath.
I know we've had open meetings for people to ask questions and all the things. Now that it's becoming very soon, I'm just wondering, I know that there are some residents that have shrubbing, flower bed, all of those things, like where the sidewalk would go, because it goes up about 19 feet total, is that right? Like 12 feet in, 7 feet wide, 19?
It
It's-
depends on
it's
the
all-
area. So I
Yeah.
mean, there
Okay.
are certain areas
I'm gonna be curious
where
to see how
there's
this-
existing landscaping, and it's not so snaky like that. But there are areas where there's existing shrubbery,
Yeah.
and we've moved sections of them further in to avoid some of those things.
Nice, okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Who'd like to make that motion? Thanks,
Yep.
Dave. Commissioner Boss's wrath?
Want me to grab the short one?
Yeah.
Thank you, Mayor. Motion to approve a budget amendment for the Safe Routes to School project in the amount of $89,700 to come from the general fund.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any questions or comments? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed unanimously. Under item G, business items number 3, City Manager Chapman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Last up for commission consideration is a follow-up item from the last commission meeting regarding an airport layout plan. The commission's direction in the last meeting was to send it back to the TIFA 3 EDC board for further consideration. They met last week, 2 weeks ago now, to which they came back with a recommendation to do the airport layout plan. So there's 3 motions with this item. Motion to waive the bidding process for Preen Newhoff as a sole source provider. Motion to approve the capital expenditure budget for $55,000 coming from TIFA 3. And motion to award the contract for Preen Newhoff in the amount of $55,500.
Mr. Rubenstein.
Just a comment that I appreciate how quickly that special meeting happened after we sent it back. And I wasn't able to make the special meeting, but I did get filled in on the discussion, and I'm happy with where it landed, but just happy how quickly that happened.
Any other questions or comments? Commissioner Gage?
Thought that was a good one, how quickly it landed. It's too good. I appreciate echoing Commissioner Rubenstein's comments that they moved quickly on this. I know that I was the one that made the motion to send it back. I know that there's been some discussion about that. It was mainly because in talking to folks that I know on the EDC board, they wanted to have more of a discussion. So I'm glad that occurred. I'm glad that took place, and that they came back with the same recommendation. So I'm more than happy if you'd like to make the motions.
Go for it.
First, I motion to waive the bidding process considering Prine and Newhoff as a sole source provider.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any questions or comments? Must
Yeah.
be a
Can-
unanimous vote.
Can I just ask a
Sure,
question about
Commissioner
that?
Alusta.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just real quickly, so there are no other engineers within the state who do engineering for runways,
Preen-
airport layout? things like
Preen
that?
and Newhoff has been our engineer for the airport for a number of years. So they've got all the information, they're familiar with the airport itself. They could turn around this product using a lot of the data they already have to make it a little bit cleaner. So it's the long-term engineer that we've used for them. We've used them for a number of years. So
They
we're just
also-
recommending, sorry.
They also negotiated $30,000 discount on their original quote because of the relationship and some of the information they already have on file. They have kind of a, what would you call it, like, the relationship that they have assigned, yeah, it's like when you have an attorney on retainer, like it's
Oh.
kind of a retainer, I think.
Yeah, we've used them
Nice.
kind of on retainer for,
Contract. Okay.
I guess my question though is, are they a sole source provider?
we put the motion in just to be cautious. I consider them a sole source for this airport. We've used them in the past. We have some contracts with them. But we put it in there just to be uber cautious.
So you're saying, could we have used them just because we have a contract with them already and not voted to make them a sole source provider?
I think we're just a little bit outside of that 5-year term. The term was July 1, 2019. I guess we're getting pretty close to it, or May 20th, 2019 today. But they are our long-term engineer for the airport. At times when we reuse the people that we've used in the past, we still put the motion in to waive the bidding process.
And having been liaison on that board before I was mayor, I know that they had a previous engineer, and I think that engineer, didn't they, all the people left from that engineering company and formed Prine and Newhoff? And, yeah,
And then Prine and Newhoff, I mean, they didn't buy them, so ALS closed operations, and then Prine and Newhoff took all their employees, so
it is kind of a specialty, airports. Sure.
Just
Commissioner
gonna,
Alusta.
just
Yeah.
a follow-up. So we are currently under a 5-year contract until July 1st with Preen and Newhoff, is that correct?
Yep.
So I guess, okay, I guess I fail to see the need then for this motion to waive the bidding process if we're currently under contract with them for engineering services.
Maybe we didn't need it, but we, like I said, in the conversations around the agenda prep, we put it in there just to be cautious. And I probably didn't catch it, so we put it in there.
Commissioner Gage.
So would we still be able to contract the services even if we didn't do the unanimous sole source provider motion, or would that complicate and then delay things?
It wouldn't complicate
Okay.
anything. But I would just do the if there's no
So it's not-
issue with it,
Sorry.
if there's no issue with it, I would just do the motion, we did put the motion in there. I would just follow through the
To me,
motion.
I understand Commissioner Lewis's point, and I think, I understand his due diligence, but if we're gonna award the bid to them anyway, I don't think that it matters if we do the first part, too.
Agreed. Any other comments before we have a vote? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Okay, so that puts us in an awkward position.
So can we,
So-
can I make the second motion then?
No.
No. We have to have a unanimous consent on sole
Wait.
source providers.
I got a question.
Yes.
Wasn't it just clarified that we could move forward with the other two, even if that was voted no? That question was just asked.
Yeah, it was, but we had a vote on, I don't know, I guess I'd want to review the contract and see what our
That's what, just give me a
legal would say,
second.
just to make sure.
I was under the same understanding Commissioner Rubenstein was.
Where is it?
I guess I could make the other motions, and if they don't stick, they don't stick. Okay.
City manager reviewing the contract.
Your Honor, if the city
Commissioner
manager, if the city manager needs time, should we motion to recess? For 5-10 minutes?
Yeah, we could recess for, we'll recess till 8 o'clock. It's 7:51. So if
So-
anybody needs to take
so
a
moved.
quick break.
Do we need a motion and
Fine.
support for a recess?
No, I don't
Support.
think so.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll just recess for 9 minutes.
Okay.
Thank you. Turn off your mic, so. All right, it is 8 o'clock when we are back in session. So City Manager Chapman, we're talking about item G, business items number 3.
So we do have, if you guys, Bonnie, if you want to throw it on the screen really quick. So we do have an agenda item in here that was approved May 20th, 2019 for engineering services for Preen and Newhoff. That is for 5 years. So we are still under this term. There isn't, the contract doesn't indicate it's project specific, so it is general for engineering services. Again, we put the motion in there just to be uber cautious, but wasn't necessary. So there is no necessary requirement for the first motion, so we can ignore that. And again, it's May 19th, or May 20th, 2019. From the EDC, awarded bid professional engineering services. S. Anderson Field for Preen and Newhoff. This was bid out. They had a couple bids. Actually, they only had one bid come back in. In their letter, announcement letter from that particular day, it does, no, that's not it. There's a letter in here that does kind of encapsulate the history that Mayor was just referring to. We had Q little o big E Consulting. I don't know what that means, but Preen and Newhoff did purchase them. They were our consulting agency at one point. So we do still fall within the original contract with that. So that first motion is not necessary. So I guess we would look for motion for the first or the second and third motions.
Commissioner Gage.
I would just add too that somewhere out there, Commissioner Shane Miller is very happy with us making this discussion about the sole source bidder.
For sure.
So I would move to approve the capital expenditure budget for the airport layout plan for $55,500 with funding to come from TIFA 3.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any questions or comments? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed unanimously. Commissioner Gage.
Motion to award the contract to Preen and Newhoff in the amount of $55,500.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any questions or comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed unanimously. Thank you.
Just real quick,
Sure.
Robin, should we make a motion to not do the first motion just so it's in the minutes? You got it? Okay, never mind.
All right, so moving on into item H, which is city manager announcements and updates. City Manager Chapman.
Few things for the commission tonight. Big announcement for the 4th of July fireworks. This year, they will be back down on the Army Corps property, so you will be able to watch them from the downtown area. So there was a big push from Army Corps of Engineers to get the fireworks back down in their area. They worked out with Kokosine to make it happen. They worked with the fire department, and the fireworks will be back downtown this year. And foreseeably during the project was kind of our one qualifier for that too. So we're not having to bounce back and forth every other year. So 4th of July fireworks are back downtown. Just a reminder, we have the City Commission joint meeting with Sioux, Ontario, June 3rd at 5 p.m. This Friday, the wastewater treatment plant and the upgrades, the collection system will be bid out officially. Those will sit out for about a month or so. They will come back the first July meeting for commission consideration. We'll keep you guys in the loop as we move forward on that one. The Meridian project is set to begin beginning of June, mid-June, somewhere around there. Easter Day paving was going to start this week. It looks like it's going to start Thursday once all the rain is cleared up. You'll start to see a little bit more activities around the carbide dock as well in the next coming weeks, more specifically the dirt being hauled out. So, oh, and my favorite update is the kids' fishing pond is stocked and ready to go. So, not that I fish it, but my kids do, so.
Looked like, thank you to the, was it Cloverland crew that put up the nets?
Yes,
Yeah.
Cloverland helped us up with the nets this year. Yep, Trish coordinated everything with all the parties, and the fish came in from which hatchery? Jordan, from the Jordan Fish Hatchery. Hmm?
You didn't get Lake State fish? Just saying. They got good fish.
Those are salmon.
Wow. Just saying.
All right, anybody have any questions for city manager on his announcements and updates? Seeing none, we'll go to item I, which is matters presented by the public. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to make any comments at this time? Seeing no movement, we'll move to item J, matters presented by the city commission. Commissioners, Commissioner Rubenstein.
Just a note, I will be out of town in the great city of Pittsburgh during our next meeting, so I will not be able to attend our joint session.
I think we passed a policy on that, didn't we? No paycheck. Well, that was harsh, eh? Commissioner Bosma's wrath. Enjoy, yes, Commissioner Rubenstein.
For my cousin's bar mitzvah, so.
Okay.
Just real quick, this Saturday, well, is my daughter's 19th birthday, but also it's Sioux High's high school graduation. Congratulations to the class of 2024. Stay safe and good job.
Good comment, Commissioner Busta.
Just a question for the city manager. I'm wondering if you can provide an update on the potential, if the DDA and the EDC have had an opportunity to meet on a potential joint director.
I think we had a couple meetings tentatively scheduled. But I think Bryn is having a hard time getting quorum for the people. I want to say there was one, she had a couple of dates out there, but I think she sent a follow-up with the boards. Trying to think, we just talked about it today. She had some dates that she sent out. She did a doodle poll. She's working on getting as many people as possible to the joint meeting. Once we have that kind of confirmed, we'll we'll send an invite to all of you as well. But she had a hard time. She's been working on it the last couple of weeks, and she's having a hard time, one, people not participating or responding back to her, and two, getting enough people to say that they're available on those days. So she is in motion to get that meeting scheduled, but it would be helpful if people responded back to the doodle poll. So we'll keep you in the loop.
Thank you. And I would also echo the congratulations for Sioux High class of 2024, including my son. So I just wanted to echo that. You all take my kids' stuff all the time. So.
Congratulations to your son. Any other, Commissioner Gage?
Just a very brief one. I know certainly this has been a big week with the First Lady, but this was a strange week as well. There was 2 film groups in the Upper Peninsula that weirdly I got involved with. One is a group that's doing a pilot for Netflix on paranormal things in the Upper Peninsula. And so I think that, certainly I'm excited to see the good locals that they had involved with that. Special shout out specifically to Tim Ellis and Brad Blair, who I think are kind of going to be the stars of that show. And then the second one was yesterday. I'm sure that we might have seen that there's a group making a movie called Uper Frankenstein that is here local in the Sioux. They started shooting yesterday, and I wanted to wish them the best of luck as they get the film rolling, and look out for a very minor part from Commissioner Gage in that production. So
Can't wait.
Hollywood star. What's that?
Igor.
Yes, yeah, well, they obviously wanted the biggest celebrity they could, so they settled for me. So.
I was thinking more like the Hunchback.
Yeah, bless it.
Thanks, Commissioner. Anybody else? And I just have a couple. Thank you to Commissioner Boswell-Strath for reminding me, but today is Victoria Day in Ontario, so happy holiday for all of our Canadian friends. Speaking of our Canadian friends, as City Manager mentioned, we do not have a regular City Commission meeting on the 3rd of June. It will be in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario at 5:00 p.m. And we have a good lineup for that. And I don't know if we will be live on any media, YouTube or not. Our cable channel won't be there for sure, but we won't. But they will probably broadcast
Yeah, we
it.
won't, but I believe they do.
Okay. We'll find out how they broadcast. Also, Monday, May 27th is Memorial Day, so everybody have a very safe and happy holiday. Commissioner Bauer.
Your Honor, I move that we adjourn this meeting.
Support.
Moved and supported, we adjourn.